Hi students, this is Dr. Kubin. I wanted to just do a very quick kind of tutorial, I guess, showing you some information about how to get information from websites when it comes to APA formatting. Sometimes getting the information that you need from a website in order to do your citations and your references can be a little bit tricky, especially when it comes to finding information like who the author is and what the date is that you should be using in your citations and your references. And the APA references, sometimes like the manual specifically, is not really helpful in doing that. And so I thought that doing this little video for you might help get you some of that information. So remember that the four key things that you need to have in a reference according to APA is the who, which is the author, and this kind of goes in order of how you do your reference. So the who, which is the author, the when, which is your date, the what, which is going to be the title, and then the where, which is exactly where the information came from, or the publishing information. So let's start out. I'm going to show you some different websites and show you how you find that information. So I'm going to start with my favorite website, one of my favorite websites, which is the CDC. You can get so much information on here, and you're going to be using a lot of different websites, particularly government websites in this course. So that's what I'm really kind of trying to show you in this tutorial. So most of these websites, when you're looking for the author, you're going to find it up here in this left-hand corner. So you can see here, it is featured very prominently here that the website author is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So that's listed right up here. A lot of times, if you're unsure, you can go down to the bottom of the page and you'll find that information down here. So you can see CDC is like all over the place. This one right here is very helpful because it tells you content source is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So that tells you your author. Now, when you're looking for your date, a lot of government websites, for some reason, don't usually include dates. So when you find that, if you can't find a date on your website anywhere, you will reference that with N period D period, which stands for no date. But in this particular case, sometimes you're going to find sites that have copyright dates on them. That's not the case here, but according to APA, you do not use the copyright date. That does not indicate publishing dates. So you're going to look for an actual publishing date, but a lot of times you're going to see this kind of information on a website. So if you see a reviewed date, APA does not want you to use that because reviewed doesn't mean that anything was actually done to the content. It just means that somebody looked at it. So you won't use the reviewed date, but if you see a date that says last updated or last revised, that's the date you're going to want to use. So in this case, we have a last updated date, so it would be 2017. So now we know that for this website, our author is Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and our date is 2017. So now we need our title. Most websites, the title is going to occur right above wherever your text begins. So in this case, it's going to be right here, flu activity and surveillance. I want to point out this right here. This is called a banner. So like if you're reading like a newspaper, like the New York Times, you know, it has the banner right across it on every page. New York Times, New York Times, so that you know on every page what newspaper you're reading. This is that same thing. So it means that every page that you go to about flu, flu season, prevent flu, all of these are all going to have this same banner so that you know that everything that you're reading is dealing with influenza or flu. So this particular page, this is your title. This would not be your title. And then your where, which is going to be the retrieved from data, you need to use this entire URL. Make sure you get all of this so that it takes the reader back directly to this page where you got your information from. If you were to use just www.cdc.gov, that's going to take you to the CDC homepage, not to the page where you actually got your information from. And that's not going to be helpful for the reader because they won't get any information about flu activity and surveillance. Let's look at the Texas Department of, okay, look at this right here. It says Texas Health and Human Services and Texas Department of State Health Services. So which one do you use? So again, let's go down here to the bottom. Okay, this doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't help you. But if you go to contact us, sometimes you have to do a little research to figure out what you're supposed to use. So this says contact us, the Department of State Health Services. So this tells you that this is your author, the Texas Department of State Health Services. So that's the one that you want to use. And here you have a last updated date. So that's very helpful. So 2017. And then here's your title, Flu Surveillance Data. And then again, you're going to use this whole URL for your for your retrieved from. Here's another one that I want to show you that's, again, a little bit tricky. And this is a great website right here, by the way. This is talking about AIDS education, AIDS and HIV education in minority populations. Some of you may choose that for your final project. So you may not. But if you do, you should take note of this website because it's a great resource. But what you see up here at the top, this AETC NMC AIDS Education and Training Center, okay, is this going to be your author? Or look here, you see Howard University College of Medicine. Is that going to be your author? So let's find out. If you come down to the bottom of the page, okay, look, down here you see a copyright Howard University. This tells you that Howard University owns this. You can also go over here again to this About Us. And if you look under here, under the overview, okay, it tells you that this center at Howard University College of Medicine, blah, 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 blah. So what it's telling you is that this is a center that belongs to Howard University. So this will give you a clue that Howard University is your author of this page or this website. And then, like if we're using this page right here, About Us would be your title, because, and you know that because then it's broken down into like paragraphs. And so like overview would not be your title of your page because the entire page is About Us. I want to show you one more because this is a little bit different. When you first look at this particular page, it kind of looks like Minority Nurse might be your author. But when you look further, look right here, it says by Minority Nurse Staff. This particular site has different articles written by individuals. In this particular case, it's written by the Minority Nurse Staff. This is going to be your author here. And so this is who you would put for your author. The other thing I want to point out is that this is a magazine. So magazines are typically published more frequently. So according to APA, when you're looking at your date, which is nice right here because we have it right there in front of us, 2013, but because magazines are published more frequently, according to APA, you want to include an even more specific date. So you're actually going to put your month and your day in your date. So the way it's going to look is Minority Nurse Staff, and then you would put 2013, March 30 in your parentheses, and then you would put your title, Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water, and then you would put retrieved from, and this whole URL. So I hope that that helps you figure out a little bit better how to identify your authors and your dates and your titles off of websites. I do want to show you, this link is listed in your resources on Canvas, but I want to just point out this APA style blog, which is blog.apastyle.org, And if you can't remember that or you can't find the link, if you just type in Google APA blog, this will come up. This website right here, one of your best resources. You can find just about any question you ever wanted to know about APA style in here. There's this archive here for all kinds of random question things about how do I cite this according to APA style on this site. So keep this site handy, like bookmark it today, because you can find everything here. Now I want to show you something else really, really important about one of the most common websites that you're going to use for this course. And I want to show you how to apply all of the stuff that we just talked about. I'm running out of time in this video, so I'm going to do another one real quickly to show you how to apply this stuff. And I want to show you one of these other websites in another video. So watch that one too, please. See you in a second.